Derek hadn't slept past 6 in 11 months. The mental list lived in his head around the clock. School pickups, whose turn it was for dinner, which bill was due Thursday. His wife Anna slept until 9 most Saturdays. He told himself he didn't mind. Then one morning he stood packing 3 lunches while she scrolled her phone on the couch, and something in his chest went quiet in a way that scared him. Not rage, colder than that. He wasn't angry at Anna. He was angry that he couldn't remember the last time a single person asked if he was tired. Welcome to The Unseen Mind, the channel that breaks down the psychology nobody teaches men, so you stop guessing and start understanding your relationship. Tonight, why her rest can feel like a personal insult when you're the one holding the weight, and what that feeling is actually telling you. The ledger. Nobody signed. Derek never sat Anna down and said, "Here's what I expect from you." He didn't have to. Somewhere in year 2 of their relationship, an agreement formed without either of them writing it down. He'd handle logistics, she'd handle the emotional temperature of the house. Neither of them chose it consciously. It just calcified through repetition until it felt like law, the way a footpath becomes a road just because enough people walk the same line without ever planning it. This is a covert contract, an unspoken deal one partner assumes the other has silently accepted, simply because they never objected. The danger isn't the division of labor itself. Plenty of relationships run efficiently on divided roles. The danger is that Derek never confirmed Anna saw the deal the same way he did. He was operating off a contract only one person had read, enforcing terms she'd never actually agreed to in words. Here's what men get wrong constantly. They mistake silence for agreement. Anna's silence wasn't consent. It was just the absence of a conversation neither of them knew they needed to have. Derek built years of resentment on a foundation he never actually verified existed, then blamed her for breaking rules she'd never seen written down. The fix isn't guilt-tripping her into noticing. It's naming the contract out loud, without accusation, turning an assumed agreement into a real one both people actually chose. Until you say the terms out loud, you're not in a partnership. You're negotiating with a ghost. Why your own rest feels like a threat. Watch what happens when Derek tries to take a Saturday morning for himself. He doesn't relax. He checks his phone every 10 minutes. He feels like something's about to break the second he's not managing it. That's not discipline talking. That's loss aversion. The well-documented tendency for humans to fear losing something they already have far more than they value gaining something new, even when what they gain is simply rest. Derek isn't afraid of being lazy. He's afraid that the moment he stops carrying the load, the household identity he's built, competent, reliable, the one who holds it together, will collapse, and he'll lose the one form of value he's sure he provides. Rest doesn't feel like recovery to him. It feels like risk, like stepping off a ledge he spent years convincing himself he built solid ground on. This is where so many men sabotage themselves without realizing it. They confuse their usefulness with their worth. So stepping back feels like erasing themselves rather than simply resting. And because that fear is invisible even to Derek, he never says it out loud. He just keeps grinding, quietly furious, telling himself it's fine. The truth underneath the resentment is almost never, "She doesn't do enough." It's, "I don't know who I am if I'm not the one doing everything." That's not a scheduling problem. That's an identity problem wearing a scheduling costume. Fix the identity, and the exhaustion starts making sense for the first time. The good partner trap. Derek would never say Anna is lazy. He believes, genuinely, that he's a good partner who doesn't keep score. That belief is precisely what's keeping him stuck. He's carrying more, feeling resentful about it, and still insisting out loud that everything's fine. 3 things that cannot all be true at once, no matter how convincingly he performs the third one. This is cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding 2 contradictory beliefs, and the exhausting effort your brain spends trying to make them fit anyway. Derek's self-image says, "I don't need credit." His actual behavior, the sighing, the tight jaw, the sarcastic comments about how nice her Saturday must be, says otherwise. Rather than resolve the contradiction honestly, his mind quietly rewrites the story. "I'm not upset, I'm just tired. I'm not resentful, I'm just responsible." Men do this constantly, and it's the single fastest route to a resentment nobody can name until it detonates. You cannot out-nice a real imbalance. Pretending you're fine when you're not doesn't protect the relationship. It just delays the honest conversation until it arrives with far more damage attached, usually at the worst possible moment. The way out isn't performing patience until you crack. It's admitting the mismatch between what you say you need and what you actually feel. To yourself first, then to her. A partner who tells the truth early is far easier to love than one who explodes later. The role you didn't choose, you inherited it. Derek's father worked 2 jobs and never once complained. His mother ran the house without help and never once complained either. Nobody sat Derek down and taught him this was a pattern to repeat. He just absorbed it, the way children absorb everything, by watching what love looked like in the house that raised him, long before he had the language to question it. This is where attachment styles quietly run the show. Men who lean anxious or fearful avoidant often overfunction in relationships without ever deciding to. Carrying more becomes a way of proving their value and controlling the anxiety of not being needed. It feels like generosity. It's actually a coping mechanism, wearing generosity's clothes, built years before Anna ever entered the picture. Anna isn't necessarily underfunctioning because she's inconsiderate. In plenty of these dynamics, one partner overfunctions specifically because the other has learned there's no room to step in. The role is already taken, permanently, efficiently, without negotiation. Over time, both people get locked into positions neither of them consciously chose, and both quietly assume the other prefers it that way. Understanding this isn't an excuse to stay stuck in it. It's the key to breaking it. You cannot fix a pattern you think is just who you are. Once Derek recognized that his exhaustion was inherited behavior, not fixed identity, he finally had something he could actually change instead of just endure. The conversation that actually fixes it. Here's what finally shifted things for Derek. Not an ultimatum, not a blow-up, not a passive-aggressive comment about Saturday mornings. A single calm sentence. I want to talk about how we split things, because right now, I don't feel like a partner. I feel like a project manager. That's frame theory in action. The principle that whoever sets the terms of a situation controls how it unfolds. Derek had spent years reacting inside a frame Anna didn't even know existed. The moment he named the frame out loud instead of silently enforcing it, the entire dynamic became negotiable for the first time in years. Leadership in a relationship isn't controlling your partner. It's controlling the conversation, bringing structure to a problem that's been running on autopilot. Most men either say nothing and seethe, or say everything and blow it up. Neither one moves anything. What moves things is calm, specific, unemotional clarity about what needs to change and why, delivered before resentment forces the issue. Derek didn't demand Anna do more. He asked her to co-author the ledger with him, out loud, together, revisited regularly instead of assumed forever. That single shift from silent endurance to spoken leadership did more for his relationship than 3 years of quietly carrying the weight ever did. Derek and Anna still argue about logistics sometimes. That's normal. That's what honest partnerships sound like. But he doesn't disappear into resentment anymore because he stopped negotiating with a ghost and started negotiating with his actual partner. The exhaustion didn't vanish overnight, but it finally had somewhere to go besides silence. If any of this hit close to home, drop your situation in the comments. You're not the only man carrying more than he's ever said out loud. Subscribe if you want the psychology nobody hands you a manual for. And next week, we're covering a pattern that shows up right after couples finally fix their communication. One almost nobody sees coming until it's already happened. The unseen mind. Stay sharp.